can shoot the enemy. If you hit the enemy, then the coin will be. So project. We will start using the new empty project. Okay, so this is our. First of all, please rename the new project to be the shooter game. And then this layout I will rename as the menu. We will make the menu, and then this one will be the menu event. Okay. For the layout, we will use 360 by 640. So our script, and then so this is for the layout, and then for the project itself, for the window size, make it the same. So 360 and then 640. So this will be our workspace. Okay, I hope that everybody can follow my instruction. Okay, we will start to import the layout. Import the game asset to the layout. To do that, here in the view, I will click snap to grid, show grid. Okay, and then I will change the grid to be 30 by 30. So it just the size that make you easier to import the game asset. Okay, after that we will start to import the object. So right click, insert new object, or double click in the workspace, and then you can start with the tile background. Click, open. For the background, we can use I think purple. This one, purple. And then please adjust here the same as the background. 260 and 640. Okay, you can rename that one as the background. Okay, and then we will import another game asset, sprite. So this will be our title. So I create this title using Inkscape. This will be title. Okay, and then we will need the button here. So insert new object, another one. For the button, we can use 9-patch. Click, open. I think this one, power up yellow. So this is for the button. So if you are using the 9 patch, when you adjust the size of the button, the corner will not be affected here. The corner of the button. Okay. Then you can as the this one button play. Okay. Yeah, we can hear your voice, and then please mute your hello. Yeah, and then we need some text here, play text. So you can import. We will use the text. So this will be our text play, and then for the text, I will set as the play, and then you can adjust the size of the text, and also the color, and also the alignment to be center horizontally and then center vertically. So this is one way of how to make the menu. Okay. And then after that, we want to create another layout for the game. So right click and then add layout, and then here you have a choice. So we will add the event sheet. So here we have menu and then layout. This is the layout that we just created. So rename that one as the stage. And then event sheet also will rename stage. Rename as the stage underscore event. So we have two layouts and then also two event sheets. Okay, for the stage, we should also make the layout size to be the same. So 360 for the layout width, and then 640 for the height. Okay, I will make it the same, snap to grid, show grid, and then this one should be 30 by 30. Okay, and then before we forget, here in the project, so click shooter game. In the project, we can set the first layout. So because we have two layouts here, so which one that you want to set to be the first layout. So this one should be menu. Okay. Then after we have two layouts, so we can add some logic that if the user click the play button, the layout will go to the stage. So go to the menu event, this one. And okay, before that, we forgot to insert the mouse or the touch. So right click, insert new object, and then here You can choose the mouse or the touch. So for this one, I will use the touch. Okay, please wait. And then go back to the menu event. Click add event. For this one, touch on tab object. Which is the play button. So if the user touch the button play, then we want the system at action system, go to the layout, which is the stage, then done. Okay, we can try. So click run layout. So we have our menu here, and then if we click the play, and then the system will go to the stage layout. Okay. Before we start to the next step, so is there any question? Okay, if you miss some step, please mention the step that you want to repeat. Up until now, we just import the game asset and then create two layouts and then add some logic to play the game. I think if I repeat from the start, I think we will not make it for the whole game. So I think it's better if you rewatch the video later. And then please try to keep up. Please try to follow the instruction. So if you missed some the step, import step, just right click, insert an object, and then for the purple thing, you can use the type background. Click and then open, use the purple.png. Right? If you want to import the button, I'm using the 9th page. And then for the title, I'm using the sprite. Okay. I think I can continue to the stage. So for the stage here, because we already have the background, so I just drag to the workspace. Then just adjust the position. So we have the background already for the stage. But for this stage, we want to move the background. So click the background and then click behaviors and then click open, and then here you can choose wrap. Okay, I will repeat. So for the stage, drag down the background, adjust the position, and then click behaviors, and then click add new, search for the wrap. and then close. Okay. If you miss the step for the menu, it's okay. Just follow the instruction for the stage, because this is the main gameplay for the game. The menu is just we just import some button that will go to the stage. So the important thing is from this part. Okay. Later you can rewatch the video on how to create the menu. Okay, after we set the behaviors to be wrap for the background, go to the stage event here. Stage event. So this is the logic for the stage. And then add event, system, scroll down, and then you can search for the every tick. Search every tick here. It means that every time you want to move that background, we want to set the position of the background, set y position of the background to be background dot y plus 1. Okay, done. So I will repeat. Add event, system, search for the every tick, and then add action. We want the background at y position of the background to be background dot y. It means that the current y position for the background plus 1. So it means every time we add some numbers, which is 1, to the background y position. Okay. So you can see the result here. So the background moved from the top to the bottom. Okay. And then it will, because we add the wrap behavior to the background, so the background will reappear from the top. Okay. So to make it smooth, so you can copy and then paste, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and then click. So to background here, so I will set here 0 and then minus 640. By doing that, if you run the layout, you can see the smooth scrolling background. Okay. Up until this point, any questions? We just scrolling the background. This is the stage logic. If you miss the step, system every tick, background set y to background y plus 1. Okay. Okay, if no question, then for the next step, we want to import the player. So for the player, we have here the player sprite. So from 0 to the player here 47. So we will divide that sprite to be 3 animation, which is idle to the left and then to the right. So we will import new object as the sprite and then click. And then here this one for the idle. So right click and then rename to be idle. And then we can import here, import frames from files. So we will choose the player from 0 to 15. That will be 16 frames. So we will delete this one. Okay. And then for the idle animation, we can set the speed. So I will set as the 8. It means that frame per second. So you can set any value there. And then loop set to be yes. So when we preview the animation, you can see our ship here, animation of the ship. Okay, that one for the idle. I will repeat the step for other animation. So right click and then add animation to the left. So right click in the animation frames panel, import frames from files. So for that one we will import from 16 to the I think 31st. Yeah, and then delete for the 0 frame. So delete. So we will have 16 frames. Like the idle, so click on the left, adjust the speed, and then set the loop to be yes. And then preview the animation. Okay, so this is the left animation. Another one to the right. So you can here add animation, right? And then right click, import frames from files. So we will start 30 second to 47. Then delete the 0. Okay, right click, click in the right, and then speed set to be 8, loop set to be yes, and then preview. Okay, and then close. Okay, because I think it's too big, so you can set the size of the ship to be 60 by 60. Okay, 60 by 60. After that, you can click on the ship. So I forgot here to rename the sprite to be player.
Saya grafiskan nggak ngerti aku. Anjir.
Okay. And click here in the player and then add behaviors and then add new, and then here you can see. So for the last session we were using the platform. So for this one we will use another movement, which is the add direction. Okay, and then close. But for our case we will use here just for direction, and then no and no. Okay, then you can run the layout. That if you are you type the left arrow, so you can control the characters here if you type the arrow using the keyboard. Okay, we can add more behavior. So as you can see, if we move far to the left, then the ship will go to the outside the screen. Okay, we can add another behaviors. Click behaviors and then add. Here you can set bound to layout. And then run again. So right now the ship cannot be outside of the screen. Okay. Okay, before I forgot, so click the player again. So in the image editor, and then for the idle, here idle, click the set collision polygon. So right now the collision polygon is using the bounding box. I think it's not good. So if the enemy hits you in this area, so it will be counted as the hit, but it isn't. So you should here set right click and then set guess polygon shape. So it means that if the enemy hit you in this area, it will not be lost to you. Okay, so the hit area will be in this part. After that, right click and then apply to whole animation. So it means that this animation also have the same polygon bounding polygon shape for the collision box. So we will set also to the left animation. So right click and then guess polygon shape, and then right click and then apply to whole animation. And then for the right also, right click, set polygon shape, right click and then apply to whole animation. Okay, then close. So any question regarding the step? Why mine in the preview is half in the preview? Maybe you didn't set the loop to be yes. Then I set the speed to be 8. So you can preview and then you can see the animation here. Yeah, so this is the preview for the layout. Oh, for that one maybe you set the wrong size for this one. So click project and then set the window size to be 360 640. Okay, and then click the layout. The width and the height also should be the same, 360 640. Okay, so please try to set the window size and layout size to be the same. The question is, I accidentally closed the properties. So for that one, you can here click the view, then you can check or uncheck the properties bar. Okay, I hope you are good. Okay, I will continue the step. So right now we can control the player, and then we want that player. Okay, so as you can see, we have set the animation left and right, but right now there is no animation for the left or the right. So we will set the animation. So we will set the animation of the player. So add event, and then here we will set the player, and then if the player is moving, so we will make it invert. So it means that if that player is not moving, add action, player, set animation. So if that player is not moving, we want the animation to be idle. Then done. What if the player type the arrow? So it means that we need to insert new object. This one, the keyboard. So they import the keyboard as the input. Right. So right now we can add the event that if the player type in on key press, click and then left, click left, type left in the keyboard, left arrow. Okay, done. If the keyboard is, we want to set the animation of the player. So click player, set animation to be left. Then add another event, keyboard on key press, click to choose. Press a key here, right arrow. Okay, done. Then add action, player, set animation to be right. Okay, so we have set the animation of idle, left, and right. If you run the layout, so you will see the animation to the left, right. Okay. Here in the so for example, this one, I will comment this one logic for the player. So it means that these block are the logic for the player. So it will make the block can be read easily. Okay, we can set the animation and then we can control the player. Now we want the player to shoot the bullet. Okay, so right click and then insert new object. This will be sprite and then click and then open. Here we will use the here projectile bolt ray. So I will show you the for the bullet. So there are 16 frames. So to import, just click that asset. Oh, sorry. So I repeat because we will have the animation for that one. So click in the animation frames and then import frames. So from the last one we this one from the sprite strip. Sprite strip, that it means that in the one image there are so many frames like this. So this image, this one image contain 16 frames. So it calls sprite strip or sprite strip. So projectile. So we need to set the number of horizontal cells, which is 16, and cells mean this one 16 frames like this for the horizontal, and then vertical just one, and then this one click replace entire existing animation, click OK, and then OK. So you will get this animation. So before you can set the speed, for example, to be 16, and then loop to be yes. Then don't forget to set the collision polygon. Right here, right click, and then guess polygon shape. Right click and then apply to full animation. Then click and then right click and preview. So this is the animation preview. Okay. After that, we need to rotate here 90-degree clockwise. So this one, there is the description there. Hold shift to rotate entire animation. So because we have 16 frames in the animation, so to apply some action, so you can click shift, type shift, hold, and then click rotate 90-degree clockwise. Okay, you get this one. Preview. So this is the bullet. Okay, close. So we get the bullet. Right click, rename as the bullet. I think this one is too big, so we can resize that one to be 30 by 15 maybe. So this is the bullet. Okay, and then for the bullet, we will add the behaviors, add, then you can see here there is special movement for the ballet. Okay. So for this one, I will set the angle to be no. Okay. If you run the layout, then you can see the ballet is moving to the right. It's okay, but we need to set the angle here to be, we want the ballet to run from the bottom to the top. This means that here we should set the angle to be 270. We can run to, I think is correct right now. So I will repeat. So after you import the ballet here, you should rotate 90 degrees clockwise for all animation. And then don't forget also to set the polygon shape for the box bonding. And then add the behaviors for the ballet to be ballet. And then set the angle to be no. And then set the angle in this part common to be 270. Okay. What happen if the ballet already outside the here the layout? So we should add some behaviors, add another behavior. So if that ballet already outside the layout, we will destroy that one. Then okay, you can run. Okay. So the system or the construct will destroy that object if that object already outside on the screen. Okay, up until this point, is there any questions? How to cut the ballet into one? Yeah, as I said here, the ballet in one image, there are 16 frames. So in order to import the ballet, right click in the animation frames, import frames from sprite strip, then choose that one. Then here sprite strip layout, you can set 16. It depends on your animation. So this in that animation, and then the vertical will be 1. Then you can replace entire existing animation. Okay, like this. And then after that, you should rotate 90 degree clockwise. And then don't forget to set guess the polygon shape, then apply to whole animation. And review after that. How to insert the object that we will shoot. Yeah, later I will cover you. I will teach you how to import the enemy also. Okay, I think I will continue. So after that, you can move that bullet to outside, to be outside the screen. And then for this one, we want the player to shoot the bullet if we press the space. There is some question how to move the background. So for the background, you should change add the behavior to be wrap. So add wrap, search for wrap, and then in the stage event, you can set here the logic for the background. So system every tick, it means every time we want to move the background. So I will add the comment here, logic for the background. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Add event. So next step is we want to shoot the bullet. So add event and then keyboard on key press. Click to choose and then space. Okay, done. So if the user type in the space, add action, the system, we want the system to create the object, which object that we want to create, the bullet. We can set the position of the bullet to be player dot x, so it means that we want set the position of the bullet to be same as the player x position. Also for the y position, so player dot y, and done. So we can see front layout and move and then shoot if we type in the space. Okay, so this is the logic. Keyboard on space, system create the object which is the bullet. This one layer you can leave it 0, and then for the position set as the player.x and then player.y. Okay. Okay, after that, the enemies. Okay, how to make the bullet shoot automatically. I think later I will cover that one after this part. Okay, so basically you can here copy this part to the every tick. So if you run that one, it will shoot automatically like that. Okay, but you need to adjust some step. Okay. Or later I will cover every X second, so you can set that X second to shoot the bullet. Okay, the enemies, yes. So right click, insert new object, and then sprite, click, and then right click, and then import from files. For the enemies, we will use fighter 0 to 15. Delete. So this is our enemies. Right click, gas polygon shape, and then apply to whole animation. For the animation, you can set the speed, for example 16. Set look to be yes. You can preview that. Okay. So this is the size for that one. I will set 60 by 60. Okay. So for the enemies in the game design, I mentioned that the enemies will come to the top of the screen. Okay. So for this one, stage event. For the every trick, I can add the action here, enemy. Just like the background, we can set the position, set Y. Just set the Y position of the enemy to be enemy.y plus 1. So we will increase one value of the enemy Y position here. So when you run that one, so the enemy will come from the top to the bottom of the screen. So after the enemy goes to the screen, we should also here destroy the enemies. Okay, but we want to generate the enemy randomly. Okay, so from this, starting from this position until that position. So as you can see here, the position of the enemy for the XY. So for the X here, 30. For the X here, 330. So we will try to make random enemies. Okay, to do that, click stage event. Okay, I will add some comments here, logic for the add event, and then system. This one time every X second, so you can set every X second the interval. So I will set 1 second. So every 1 second, that action, the system create object is like the bullet. So we want the system to create the object, which is the enemy on the layer 0 is okay. So for the X, first for the Y, I think negative 30, right? For the X should be random. So this is the function in the construct random. So I can input half 0.5 until 6 multiplied by 60. So it means that if this random function will get 1, for example, will get the 1 value 1, and then 1 multiplied by 60, and then the enemies will appear in this position. So 60 by minus 30, like this. If that random have the value to be 2, then the enemy will appear from this position 170 and negative 30. Okay, so we can start. Okay, we can see that the random coming from the top in random position. Okay, up until this point, is there any questions? So I will break down here for the logic. This is logic for the background and also the enemy here. Player, enemy. Okay. Window size. So window size. So this is the window size. Click on the project. Window size. So for today's session, I will use this as the window size 360, 640. Make it the same also for the layout size. Okay. Any other question? So up until now we can control the player can shoot, and then there are some enemies. So next step is that player, what happens if that bullet hit the enemies. Okay, so we should add some logic there. Okay, so like our game design, so there will be coin or score and also the life. So I will the question is how to reduce the enemy's value. So later we will add some logic. If the bullet hit the enemies, then we will destroy the enemies. Okay. And then some question, can you repeat from you put the enemy? Okay. So here we have imported place and also the behavior destroy outside layout. And then for the logic, so first put this one right in this position. So this is 30 by minus 30. 30 by minus 30. And then we want to set the position of the enemies random. So it means that here, it can be here, or here. But as you can see, the Y position is not changed, minus 30. Okay. But X position is changed constantly. So we will use the random function there. So for if that random function if that random function return 1, then the enemies will come from this position. A5 and then from this position. Okay, so to do that, logic for the enemies is like this. System every 1 second, so later you can set this interval 2 or 3 seconds. So every 1 second, system create object which is the enemy. For the x for the y, we will fix that one to be -30, but for the x we should make it random, so from 0.5 until 6, for example, multiply by 60. 60 is the width of the enemy, the size of the enemy. Okay, it's like that. Okay, and then next step, okay, insert new object, sprite, click, and then open coin. So this is for the coin. Actually, we don't need to set the bounding box. Yes, we can crop that one, crop transparent edge. Okay, then close. So we will set in that part. You can adjust the size to be 30 by 30. There. Don't forget to rename as UI user interface point. So UI means that it will not affect your gameplay at all. Okay, UI. And then insert new object, text, click. Sorry. Then change this one to be text coin. Color to be white. Font to be 22, for example. Horizontal align to be center, vertical to be center. Maybe for horizontal to be left. It's okay. For the text, we can set that one to be 0 at the default value. And then for the live, so insert new object, sprite, click, and then open. So we will just use first frame of the player. So this one, you can crop that one. Close. You can rename that one as the UI player, UI live. You can shrink that one, I think. Okay. Under one, the text of the live. So insert new object, text, click, make it the same. Three, for example. Okay, so that's the default value. And don't forget to rename txt live. Okay, so we have set the number of coin, the number of live, and then we will continue the logic. If the player if that bullet hit the enemies, we will add the number of the point here. If the enemy hit the player, the life will be decreased. Okay, the question, there is a question why the bullet is out from area. The first object of the bullet. Okay. Yeah, I will cover that one later for how to shoot the enemies. Okay.
Salam. Iya. Saya nyeting sampai ya. Kenapa?
Okay, and then
Buat tadinya kan kalau
we will add some global variables. So we need global variables for the number of coin set to be 0. Number of coin.
Gimana, Pak?
And also number of life.
Cuma saya baru kerjakan ini.
Oh,
iya,
baru
selesai.
Iya,
Hah? Selesai tapi tak?
Sudah ya, aku belum. We have that
Saya
global
perlu, Kak.
value, and then we will add some logic here. Logic for the bullet. If that bullet on collision with another object, which is the enemy, okay. So if that bullet on collision with the enemy, we want the system add to number of coin to be 1. Okay. Add action coin text coin, set the text to be number of coin. Set the text to be number of coin to display the number of coin. And then after that, at action enemy, we will destroy the enemy. Okay, we can try it. Oh, forget. And also we should destroy the bullet destroy. Okay, we can try run. Okay, the number of coin is increased. Okay, every time we hit the enemies. Yeah, actually I have prepared another game asset, which is the explosion. So if that bullet hit the enemies, there will be some explosion animation. So I forget to import that one. So right click, insert new object, sprite, click, and then right click, import frames from sprite tree, explosion here, explosion type C, and then there are 48 horizontal cells. You can see tick the replace entire existing animation. Okay. So please wait. It will take time. Okay. And then for the speed, I will set as the animation frames, number of frames, so 48. Loop to be no. And then for the animation, I will rename that one as the explode. If you preview that one, so there is the explosion there. Okay. So this is the explosion. I will resize that one to be the same as the enemies. 60 by 60. 60 by 60, and then this one rename as the explosion. Go back to the logic. So for this step, before we destroy the enemies, we want to create the object. System create the object, which is the explosion. For the X position should be from the enemy.x, and then Y position also enemy.y. Then fit before we destroy the enemy. So it means that before destroy the enemy, we create the explosion on that position, and then destroy the enemy, destroy the bullet. But the animation will be played for the explosion. In the every tick, we should add some event. So right click, add sub event. For the explosion, and then animation on finish, and then explode. On animation explode finish, we want to destroy that explosion. Okay, so it means that after we created the explosion, we will let the animation to be run on that object, but after that explode animation is finished, we will destroy that explosion. So you can check. Okay, I think it's good to go. Okay. Okay, please mute your audio. Okay, that one logic for the bullet. After that, for the life. Okay. So if that enemy hit the player, we want the number of lives to be decreased. So in this part, I think we should add some event for the enemy. If the enemy on collision with another object, which is the player, then so I will move in this part. Enemy on collision with the player, add action, system, subtract from number of life 1. So subtract 1 from number of lives, and then text life, set text, number of life. add action, that enemy will be destroyed. That enemy will be destroyed, and then we want also to create the explosion. So I will just copy paste that action and then move it, drag to that part. Okay, so we can check. Okay, 2, 1, 0, and then negative. So we should also add some logic. If the number of life equal to 0, it means that the player is lose. Okay, so we will move to the return to the menu. So for this part, right click and then event. If the system compare variable number of life equal to 0, this is this one on collision with the player. So we want just system go to layout, which is menu. Then we can also reset the system, reset global variables. Okay, so we can check it. So we can hit the enemies. And then if we lose, then go back to the menu screen. Okay, so up until this point, is there any questions? Okay, wait. What if our life indicator is not presented by numbers bar graph? Yeah, if you want that kind of indicator, so you still can using like insert new object and then sprite, click, and then here I will use red in the sprite. So you can make it like this, I think. We can add some logic at event system on the start of layout. So this, for example, rename is the live bar. Live bar, we can set the live bar width to be, for example, 30 by number of life. So this is the live bar. So when you hit the enemy, this is for the start of the layout. I will move it to the front. Then every tick we should also check this one. Okay, just like that, the life bar will be decreased. Okay. But for this one, you can set the so in this part here, set origin and image position. So right now is in the center. You can set the X to be 0. Okay. Okay, I think it's good enough for you to understand how to use the health bar or life bar. Okay. Any other questions? What is the behavior of the bullet? So you can check the behavior of the bullet. Bullet and outside the layout. For the bullet, I set the angle to be known and then this angle to be 200. Okay, how to prevent the enemies from blocking the coin and the life indicator? Okay, for this part, because we are using just one layer, the enemies also in one layer, I think we can move it. We can layer, yeah, this one layer, so we can add the layer. We can rename that one as the UI layer, for example. So move this one to be in the UI layer. I hope that it will not. Yeah, the enemies will be in the bottom of the layer, bottom part of the layer. Okay. Next question is sir, how to make menu? Okay, so in the first part of this training session, actually I gave you the instruction on how to make the menu. So for this button, you can use the 9 page and then use this one. So this image as the button, but by using the 9 page, you can adjust the width of the button without destroying the corner. Okay, so that will be the button, and then you can set the name of the button to be button play. Then for the logic, so I just add the touch, so you can right click, insert new object. In the input part here, there was the touch, so you can add the touch or the mouse. So I'm using the touch, so add event on touch, type object, which is the button play, done. So if the user tap the button, the play button, we want system go to layout of the stage, done. Okay, that's for the menu. Can we make the bullets shoot the enemy automatically for the skills? Yeah, you can create that kind of logic, just like I said. So you can move here. This one, create the bullet, copy in this position every 1 second. So if you try that one, so it will be automatically shoot the shoot the bullet. The stream is laggy. Can you read? Oh, sorry. On the top. So automatically, okay. Repeat the health bar. Okay. So for the health bar, we will use the same number of life, which is 3, or we can increase, for example, 5 is fine. But for this one also 5. Okay, so on the start of layout, this is just the one bit of the health bar, but we want to increase that one to be the same as the number of life. So I will set 30 by multiply by number of life, so the width will be 150 for this one. Okay, on the start of layout. Every time, then we should set also that life bar to be the same 30 multiplied by number of life, so that if the enemies hit the player, so the number of life, for example, will become 4, and then 4 multiplied by 3 will be 30 will be 120. So the width of the life bar will be decreased. Okay, you can check. Okay, it's like that one. So the life bar will be decreased until 0. Okay, so for this one I will just I just use the red color here as the game asset, but you can also use some gradation image for this one. And then it's better also to put the life bar background here later. Okay, you can explore that one. How to make the menu game over? Yeah, for the game over, actually you can create another layout, which is the game over. Or I will duplicate from this part. From this menu, I will duplicate as the game over. But I will set this one, insert new object, text, rename as the game text game over. With big text, and then horizontal should be center, vertical should be center, and then resize it. Okay, so this is game over screen. Game over screen. So for the game over screen, we should also add some event sheet. Game over event, game over event. Then for this game over stage, you should set here event shift to be stage game over event. Then you can copy this event, copy to be in this part, game over event. In the stage logic, you should change if the number of life equal to 0, go to the game over screen. Okay, change it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so game over, and then click play, or later you can add another button to go to the main menu. And then for this game over screen, you can also, I think it's better to display the high score, the score. So text. So this will be our scores. Then in the game over event, you can add the event, and then text scores, set the text, add event, and then on the start of layout, we want add action scores to be set the text to be, so this one is the string, so I will scores, so this is the string, and then because we want to combine it with the variable using n to combine it, number of coin scores, and then plus, or this one we will use the n symbol, number of coin. Okay, scores number of coin, which is 0 right now. But when we play, and then game over, why the number? Oh, because here, because we reset the global variables to default, so we should delete that one. Okay, so the scores display 3, which is the number of coin. Can you repeat the logic for the enemy? Yeah, for the enemy, This is the logic for the enemy. So first we want every 1 second we want to create the, I will delete this part. We want to create the enemy in the random position and then fix Y position. So random position will be on the range between 0.5 or half and 6. Multiply by 60. 60 is this one, the size of the enemy. So it means that if that random function return 0, I think half, so it will be 30. Half multiplied by 60 will be 30 in this position. So in this position, if that random function return 5, it will it will reappear in this position, 300. And that's all for the enemy. How to make future pause. For the pause, I think it will be hard because we need to stop all of the movement. So from the we should make the state. So for example, this one, the state, which is play or not. So currently, for example, the value of the play is Y. So here every time we want to check the state of that play, I will check play. So every tick here we should add some event to compare the value Y or not. For example, like this one. So every time we will do some logic of the movement, we should check whether it's in the play position or not. Okay, something like that, I think. So you should make the button of the pause, and then you can set the play to be N or no. Then you can do like this to change to compare the value of the play, whether it's a play or not. The question is, maybe we can make a more level on this game. Yes, you can make it more level with more engaging enemies, I think, and then more skill, something like that. Okay, there is the tips here on how to save the events, number of events, because there is some limitation in the free edition of Construct, which is 100. So right now we have 3 game seed, right? Game of a menu, stage, and game over. If we have some duplication, I think this one, menu, play, and then this one also play. We can also here using right click and then include event seed, menu event. right? This one. So it means that this logic will be applied to this game over stage as well, because we include the menu event, but it will not count as the another logic. So it will save. It will help you save some logic, some events. Okay, because there is some limitation in the construct. Pay attention that I think the limit around 100. So up until this point, I think less than 20 you can create this kind of game, the simple game. But if you want the more complex game, you should pay attention to the number of events. Then you should make the event to be effective. Alright. Any other questions?
I'll go back to the door.
Please write down your question in the chat box.
I'll connect the model.
Okay, the question is, can you repeat how to make game over toolbar? Toolbar? Game over stage. You can copy from this menu, duplicate, and then you can change some layout. So I'm using here the text. This is the text, game over, and then this one and the scores. And then for this part, it's not changed. And then you can here add, because if you duplicate just that stage, construct will not create the event seed for you automatically. So you should add another event seed for the game over. So this is the game over. And then don't forget to set the event seed of the stage, game over, event seed also game over event. And then in the stage, if the number of life equal to 0, the system should go to game over instead of go back to the menu. Okay, can one event seed do 100? Then can I still make another event seed with 100 events? I'm not sure for the limitation whether it's in one file or within one event. So construct. Oh, 100 in the project. I think 100 events in a project, not in the event sheet. You can use for layers. How to make checkpoint? I think I'm not sure whether I can cover that step. So right now, to save the value, we are using the global value, right? But the global value is temporary. So if you want to save your game and then continue your game in the another day, you can also add some local storage here. So it means that you can save the global variables in this local storage, and then you can continue from that point that you have saved here. From which the character is downloaded or made. From which the character. Yeah, for this today's session, I just download the uh, free bundle. So the construct provide this free bundle. So there are so many game assets, including the sound effects and also the music. So you can check this one. I just pick some game asset from this bundle and then provide you just for today's session in this link. Okay. Another question: create another animation? Yes, you can. But up until this point, uh, the workshop session is just about the construct. But starting from next week, we will learn how to create the game asset using the Inkscape. What if I buy the software? Yes, you can buy and then you can get rid of the limitation. But for the training purposes, I think 100 event is enough. So you don't have to buy. Because for more complex games, I think you can use another software which is involve the programming language. Okay. Any other question related to our today's session? The question is, how do I share license? I'm not sure whether you can share the license because I think license is belong to the one person only. So you should check in the Sira. Yeah, there is the personal license here. So this is the features comparison, free, personal, and business. But like I said, for the training purposes and teach you how to create the simple scheme, I think it's enough just to use this one. If tomorrow, what yeah, for the next Tuesday, I will explain how to create the game asset using the Inkscape and also animate that game asset using the Dragon Bones in the next day. How to create sound or music. So in this training, we will not cover about the music. I think you can go to this page and then go to the chiptune. You can hear Okay, so for this one, you can create the sound using this part. So point person. So you can randomly create the sound effects here. Okay, and then I think it's free, so you can free tool, so you can explore this tool for the sound effects. Okay, or you can use another software. Are we able to create our own character? I think yes, if you follow the instruction, you can also create your own game. But the idea will become from you. Okay. Can we find the steps on the Google application? What do you mean for the Google application? Which step that you want to repeat? What when is the Dragon Ball tutorial? So you can check our schedule. Active Camp, workshop, and dev. So today is this part, and then next Tuesday we will cover the static game, designing the static game asset using Inkscape, and then the next day will be to the animation with Dragon Bonds. So for your information, I move the schedule on. This is not Friday. This is Wednesday. So we will move here from 16 February to 14 February, because in 16 February that will be holiday in most countries, I think. How to make game with construct? I think yes, you can you can use it, that one, as the keyword search. Okay, I think in the video you can see some tutorial for the game development of using construct. Yeah, another question. Good afternoon. I leave the meeting. Yes, you can leave the meeting. And then if you miss some step, like I said, you can rewatch the video in the YouTube. Yeah, we are almost at 4. So if you have some questions, you can, I think later you can ask in the Telegram group. If you miss the step, please rewatch the video. Okay. Okay, for the next session, Webex next session, 13 February, Tuesday, at the same time, at the same Webex information number. Okay, so see you next week. Okay, thank you.